A lot of news to cover on and breaking within Japan and its relationship to XRP and why Ripple could be in the perfect position both with Japan and the United States. We'll break it down for you today. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into TechPath. I want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. This is a great place for you guys to get into self-custody. Get your cards, and these are like little credit cards that will work with your phone. Use our code down below. It's going to give you an additional discount to get you on your self-custody journey, which I recommend everybody should have some of their tokens on self-custody. Let's go to the headline today. Japan's ruling party proposes capping a crypto tax at 20%, and this would be matching stocks. Now, a couple of points within the article. This is the Democratic Party there seeking to categorize cryptocurrency under this new Financial Instruments Exchange Act. Basically, it would apply this similar to what they do to securities, and it currently, right now, taxes crypto up to 55% on gains. So this is a huge move for crypto in Japan with all the things that are happening. Further down in the article, this is going to be like a new asset class under the Financial Instruments Exchange Act. Huge for the opportunity, but when you look at this, you have to look at some of the projects and some of the companies that are integrated into the Japanese ecosystem and economy, and one of them, of course, is none other than XRP. Here's Sota Watanabe. This is the guy who leads up Soneium, which is one of the chains that drives, I think, going to be one of the chains that drives growth in Japan. And he talked about it as, I'm 100% sure that more Japanese people are going to come on chain now. And I would agree. Now it's equal to stock investing there in Japan in terms of capital gains. This will be a big deal. This is Sota talking about the United States versus Japan. Take a look.
But if we compare, I think US is really good at making something from 0 to 1. And I think Asian country like Japan are really good at commercialization. But let's say car company, manufacturing company, semiconductor company are really good at commercialization. I think Web3 entered the commercialization era. And that's why I think Web3 in Asia are really bullish. Another thing is probably regulation. US is already winning in the Web2, so they don't have a much incentive to push Web3 forward. But let's say Japan, we don't have a many Web2 company, global Web2 company. So I think government see this as an opportunity.
I would agree. I think that he is right. I mean, Japan is very good at commercialization of some of these markets. And right now it seems to be a little bit of a race. I don't know if Trump knows this or not, but there are some things that are being done in Japan to help avoid some of these tariffs. And one of the things that you look at is Trump is claiming that Japan is guiding the yen lower at the hint of these fresh tariffs. And that could happen, especially around how the bond architecture is done. We've seen this with Germany as they go in and printing more bonds, getting into more defense spending. This could flow into a situation with Japan. If you look at just an example of this, China's tariffs could get reversed quickly, not happening, or the yen is set to fall sharply. So I guess it's kind of a chicken before the egg situation. Do the tariffs back off? Do they hold the yen, or do they initially push the yen down to help adjust for these tariffs coming in? So there's a lot of global monetary system manipulation. I won't call it manipulation, but games being played that you guys know. I want to jump over to Eleanor Terrett, and she gave the list out here. These are some additional confirmations for tomorrow's White House Crypto Summit. A couple of the big names, of course, Brad Garlinghouse will be there from Ripple, but others, there's Vlad from Robinhood, Kraken is going to be there, Coinbase, of course, Brian Armstrong, Chainlink is going to be there, World Liberty Fi will be there, and then David Bailey coming in from Bitcoin Magazine. Wow, the Bitcoin magazines have definitely worked their way in on this. One that was missing, though, was Charles Hoskinson. I mean, the ADA was mentioned the other day by the president. So I'm kind of curious as to what was going on. So we had to go dig a clip up here of Charles. Take a look.
The latest event is this interesting little get-together at the White House, March 7th. We did not get an invitation on Monday. We did not get an invitation on Tuesday. We did not get an invitation today. So I'm going to operate under the assumption I have not been invited to go to this gathering. What is an American cryptocurrency exactly? Is it HBAR? You can make an argument for it. Is it Polkadot? You can make an argument for it. Is it Ethereum? But don't think for a moment that when I wake up, I say Cardano is for America. So I had travel plans to go to Japan. Supposed to get on a plane here in a little bit. And I will be Friday the 7th in Japan. I'm going to operate under the assumption that I'm not going to this event, especially after this video, and that's okay. But by the way, we're certainly going to be talking to regulators in Japan. And thank you to the Japanese community for being the heart and soul of the beginnings of Cardano. You mean a lot to me, and there's, frankly speaking, nowhere I'd rather be right now than there.
Okay, well, it's weird you say that behind with the American flag. And remember that I anticipate that we're going to have American crypto have some sort of special carve out that I think is going to come. So I hope that that doesn't turn bad for the Cardano community. Jumping over to Japan, you have to think about SBI. SBI is one of the biggest companies out there. And one of the reasons why is their commitment and has been behind Ripple. And they continue to grow. They currently hold 9% share based on their actual holdings of XRP. Their stockholders are saying, hey, don't sell the XRP, our stock will go down. We need to get more so the stock continues to rise. So a lot happening right there. And then if you look at their CEO, every bank in Japan will use Ripple's XRP by 2025. Now, I don't know if they're referencing end of 2025 or what was, but this was a big headline that they've been touting for quite some time. All right, so this FinTech Summit happened just the other day. And you can take a look at some of the speakers here. One of the key speakers is the digital minister who, by chance, had met with Brad Garlinghouse right there, if you take a look, met in Tokyo this week. Their leaders are committed to advancing crypto and blockchain technology. So you can see there is clear connection of what's happening within the Japanese regulators and also with what's going on with Ripple in general. I want to also go over to this right here because this is another thing that's happening, and this is Sony's bank wallet is now available on Apple Pay. This is where they connected the Sony bank wallet basically over to PlayStation for rewards, etc. All right, so I've got a clip here of Sony winning some awards around both the digital and also blockchain bank of the year. Take a look.
Award, folks. Outstanding blockchain initiative by a retail bank. Please welcome our winner, Sony Bank, and receiving this award, General Manager, Mr. Kaya Kamakori.
Let's collaborate together and expand the blockchain business even in the financial field. Thank you very much for this award.
Congratulations. I like your shoes.
The best digital bank, Japan, Sony Bank, Mr. Hiroshi Nakamichi. Congratulations once again, Sony Bank.
When you look at some of the data, this is of course ETH Layer 2, and you can kind of see one of the fastest growing right there is Soneium as an EVM. So a couple of things to kind of also watch is Sony themselves. This has been pretty much up and to the right recently, I think, because of what we've seen so far in terms of their success. Remember that Soneium, their mainnet is live. This is on Optimism. Also, when you look at Soneium's just the transaction count, you can kind of see them actually going over that of the native blockchain. So this, again, very good signs for all of this. All right, let's go over to another article. This was from You Today, and it's talking about Ripple meeting with the Japanese officials. And a couple of points within this. This was back in September, but if you look further in here, this is where they were meeting specifically with Tyra. Right there. So you can kind of see that this has been planned for some time. And they were talking about a project, if you further on down in the article, this program will be titled Project PAX. So it's going to be run by Progmat, DataChain, Toki. One other note is Toyota is issuing these digital bonds, which is basically going to be a security token targeting retail investors. And where they're doing this is on, as you can see, the tokenized platform, Progmat, founded by MUFG. So some interesting connections here starting to play out. And then you look at some of the details around this bond and you'll understand. Take a look.
Toyota Finance Corporation unveiled plans to issue 1 billion yen, which is equivalent to $6.7 million in digital bonds. A unique feature is that investors will receive additional rewards in Toyota's e-money, ranging from 1,000 to 10,000 yen based on their purchase amount. Toyota will have real-time investor data access, allowing for future engagement strategies. Unlike traditional bonds, which require minimum investment of 1 million yen, Blockchain-based digital bonds reduce costs, enabling broader participation from retail investors. Toyota aims to strengthen relationships with investors and explore more blockchain-powered financial instruments, possibly setting a trend for other corporations in Japan. The FSA is now conducting closed-door discussions with experts and plans to announce policy direction by June 2025.
Progmat just shows you the cross-chain transfers between multiple blockchains. This, again, Toki involved. So when you look at those discussions that Garlinghouse was having, what it basically does is tries to connect what the blockchain layer is going to be, Soneium, and how this is all going to work with bank intersection. And then you go to this next chart right here. This, of course, is where we always see SWIFT. Everybody understands how SWIFT works. If you don't, when you're moving money around between countries and major companies, SWIFT is one of the major platforms that's being used. This is going to be replaced by Ripple, and that is where you're going to see Soneium as the blockchain and transactions under Ripple. So this is a big deal for the future of XRP as a whole. Now let's go over, let's build the future. If you just look at the culture of what Japan has done in the past, you've got to look at anime. Anime Chain is going to be launching soon, so that in itself will continue to grow, I think, the narrative of blockchain and the investment opportunity that Japan is bringing. That's the big situation right now, because I think we're going to see more and more of countries like Japan where they get all in, and they seem to be one of the leaders here. I want to go to a clip here, because this is talking about why anime coin is needed in Japan ASAP. Take a look.
Because if you look at the production model of anime today, it's quite an archaic model where different partners come in and form what's called a production committee, and there's a merchandising partner, right? They put in, X%, and then they get the merchandising rights. And then another licensing partner comes in with like the TV rights. What this means though is that the actual animators and the anime studios oftentimes are not part of the production committee. They're more of like a contractor in this whole deal. And even if the anime becomes really, really popular, they still kind of remain underpaid.
Japan could become a new mecca for crypto in general. So keep an eye on them. It is going to be a big one for sure. Listen, if you guys are not following us out there on the Diamond Circle, this is our great place to get additional content from us. Also, you can get into our Telegram group, which is very easy, and we always leave a link down below to do that. Follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.